So this time I'll be talking a bit about racial discrimination in Japan, or discrimination against gaijins, against foreigners, and also within Japan, because my wife, she is from Okinawa, and she doesn't look Japanese. She looks typical Okinawan. Her name is typical Okinawan. It's Miyagi. If you remember the 80s, the Karate Kid movies, the master there was supposedly from Okinawa, and his name was Miyagi. Well, that's the same name as my wife's maiden name. So it's one of the top 5 names in there in Okinawa. So she looks typical Okinawan, but of course, Japanese people who haven't been to Okinawa, Okinawa is like a southern island in the middle of the Pacific. It's like halfway to Taiwan, to the south, and people there have different ancestry. They look kind of different. And my wife looks like a typical Okinawan, being from Okinawa, of course, and she doesn't look Japanese, or well, to us she looks Japanese, but to Japanese people she doesn't look Japanese. So yeah, there'd be like these situations where we'd go somewhere together, and they just assume that we're two gaijins, we're two foreigners. So should we, of course, people would assume that I'm American, because white people are just assumed to be American, because most of them are, I guess. Except in Hokkaido, where they assume you're Russian, which that's strange too. Anyway, so yeah, we would go someplace together, meet new people, and they would just assume that I was American, which cracked me up, and they would assume that she's Chinese or Taiwanese. Yeah, Taiwanese usually, because she has like slightly darker skin, and yeah, she's a Southern beauty. So, but she would get really upset at that, and after a while, she'd make it a point to clarify that she is indeed Japanese, very early in conversations when meeting with new people, which wasn't very often because she was afraid of new people. But anyway, so. So yeah, there'd be like these situations, like we would go to the city hall, she would fill in some documents, and the clerk would say that, Benko-san, Nihongo wa jouzu desu ne, which is like, hey, Mrs. Benko, your Japanese is great, and she would be like, stone face, hai, Nihonjin desu. Yes, I'm Japanese. So, and I'd be like, cracking up inside, but trying not to show it, and and these things like this happened on regular intervals, and it cracked me up. But she was upset, and I felt kind of sorry for her, and I've always let her use her maiden name whenever she wanted to, because I didn't care, and to her it was easier, and it saves her a few explanations and things like that. So yeah, she was a lot more discriminated against than I was, or maybe she wasn't, but she took it very hard, because of course her inside is completely Japanese. The education system is the same in all of the country from Hokkaido to Okinawa, and she has this very strong Japanese identity, and she felt attacked by being taken for a foreigner. So that's why she started ironing her hair, I think, because her hair is a bit wavy. Like when she has hair like this, then there's a big wave like halfway between. I'd love to post a picture, but she hasn't agreed to that, so I don't want to be a jerk. I don't want to do that without her agreement. So yeah, she started putting all this effort to look more Japanese, and I'm like, okay, whatever suits you. And to me, yeah, there'll be like discrimination when looking for jobs, discrimination when looking for apartments, and you'd get asked strange questions that you wouldn't normally get asked, because because it's very important to Japanese people, but it's not important to us. They would ask me things like, I would go to speak about Hungary at this foreigners club, where they always invite foreigners from different countries, and you do like a little presentation on your country, and they'd clap, and they'd be happy about it, and they would ask questions like, are you 100% Hungarian? And I would say, yeah, of course. But it's it just comes from a different mentality. It's not because they hate you, because they just ask that because it's important to them, and it's not important for me. Hey, my grandma was of German heritage, but I still say, hey, I'm 100% Hungarian, even though it's probably technically not correct, but that is how I feel, that is what my identity is, so that is what I say. But hey, doesn't really matter now, does it? But to them, if like someone is a half, it's like mixed race person, or if there was someone age generation back to some who's like I don't know, Chinese or whatever, non-Japanese, then that's important to some people, and I'm like, okay, whatever. So whatever floats your boat. So I wasn't largely bothered, and there's always people who, yeah, I mean, young children will stare sometimes, old people will stare sometimes, because there are still people who have bad memories from the war, of course, and conditioning from before the war, which was not entirely complimentary to foreigners, of course, to to put it very mildly. So they'll be like that, and when you look for jobs, the job center will tell you, best not apply to this one, even though it's not written, but they just say, don't apply to this one. And sometimes they don't know, so they call the place, and the first question they always ask, hey, this guy is a Gaijin, is that okay? And most of the time, the companies, the HR there will say, yeah, of course, no problems. Does he speak Japanese? That's what they ask usually. But sometimes they ask that, but sometimes they say that it's not okay, and they say it very politely, and you just kind of go, okay, next one. Same with finding an apartment. Now, if you're alone or if you're married to another foreigner, then you're not in the same market as Japanese people are. Um, but but if you're married to a Japanese person, like I was, or I am, or whatever is going to be finalized in a couple of weeks, the divorce that is, then you're in the same market, but some places will tell you that the real estate agents will tell you that you shouldn't apply for this one because it's owned by a evil oyaji who doesn't like foreigners, and they just tell you that straight into your face. And I'm like, okay, that's helpful. Let's look at another one. Yeah. So and and sometimes they're very helpful. Oh, find the Koreans. There's tons of Koreans in the real estate business in Japan. Second, third generation Koreans. They have Japanese names. They look Japanese. They act Japanese. But you'll notice a very different attitude. So when you go from real estate place to real estate place to real estate place, some of them will be normal or standoffish, and some of them will be very, very friendly. And those are the Koreans. So there's a tip there. Okay, yeah, so check out my other videos. I'll see you in the next one. Also check out my other channel. I do business and inspirational stuff there. Check that out as well. It's very cool. So, and I'll see you in one of my next videos. Also, any questions or any specific topic you want me to discuss in more detail, leave a comment below, let me know, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ta.